twirling on the beaches of Thailand, horseback riding in the jungles of Belize, and marveling at the majestic mountains in Colorado. This could all be you in 2024. Stay tuned to find out how.
So first and foremost, you might be asking yourself, who are you? And my name is Larissa. Welcome to my channel. I am a YouTuber and content creator, and I'm currently on a journey to make it to 30 countries by the time I'm 30. I'm currently on country number 17, and this year, 2024, I'm planning for a whole lot more. So here I am talking to you about how you can travel more in 2024. Let's talk flights. Flights are obviously very important because they're usually the first barrier in cost and when you're trying to figure out where you're going to go. And also, it's very difficult to get anywhere without using a flight. My personal favorite websites to use when booking flights are Skyscanner and Google Flights. Google Flights has definitely got to be my number one because at this point, Google has employed so many tools in helping you figure out when the best time to book your flight's going to be.
By simply typing in your flight information, you're giving a wealth of information from Google, which is the world's leading search engine.
And there's even some guarantees so that if you book a flight and the price does go down after you book said flight with some specific airlines, they will refund you the money difference. It's also important to use the tools that we have at our disposal. Things like AI and algorithms help you determine when the best time to book a flight is going to be, and even will do things like track and tell you when the prices go up and down, or tell you when the best time to buy is based on previous search history. Another thing that could help you save money when you're booking your flight is to be open to booking flights that are times that are a little bit less convenient. For example, flights way early in the morning, like that 4 o'clock flight that leaves out of the airport in the morning, and then also that flight that leaves at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock. These are going to be cheaper and better for your overall budget. But it is important to keep in mind that flights that are super late at night are more likely to be delayed or even canceled due to weather conditions and schedulings at airports. But if you're willing to take the risk, like I always am, it's worth it to get those flights. Also, according to Scott's Cheap Flights, there are still days that it makes sense to fly on if you want a better deal, but these are just logical. If you fly out on a Tuesday or Wednesday, they're going to have a better deal than if you fly out on a Friday evening, for example. One booking tip that I personally have utilized is booking on a private window. It's once your things are saved in your computer and the algorithm knows that you're looking for a certain flight, I have found that it does typically drive up the prices, but not by very much. With flying tips, I also want to take a minute to dispel some of the tips that used to be widely held, and now everybody, their auntie, their cousin, their uncle, and their brother, sister twice removed knows about them, so they don't work anymore. For example, it does not work anymore to book flights on a Tuesday. Any day of the week is going to be an opportunity to book a cheap flight or an opportunity to get a really expensive one. But one thing that does still really hold true is that it's in your best interest to look far out when getting a ticket, as last minute deals are also really not as much of a thing anymore. Now, I'm not going to be the one to tell you that this doesn't work or will never work for you because I don't know everything. But I do know that generally it's better to look further out so you give yourself more options as the time comes near and near that you need to fly. The most popular times to travel include June, July, August, right around Thanksgiving, and right around Christmas. So that being said, if you can manage to avoid those times, you will save yourself so much in time, money, and efforts when traveling.
So I tried this tip recently on a trip to Paris with my mom in April, which is considered the off-season for European travel. It was still a bit cold, but overall it was a good idea as we were able to get last-minute tickets to Moulin Rouge as well as tickets to the Palace of Versailles, and we also stayed in a pretty nice 4-star hotel that otherwise would have been really expensive. It was also less crowded and we were able to have more flexibility with planning our travel.
Always say yes to crepes. But definitely you do your own research to understand the times that you want to be in a place. Like, for example, this doesn't work if you're going for very specific dates, like for a festival or for like Carnival in Brazil or Holi in India. These are all things that happen on very specific dates. And if you're not there, it's not like you can just go in a shoulder season. So what you don't understand is when you see a lot of people traveling,
you think, oh my gosh, she must be rich. She has all this money.
Now that's not always the case. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not a certain level of money and income that you do need to have to be able to travel at a base level, but there's also so many ways that you can utilize things like credit cards and memberships and loyalties in order to be accruing points on things that you do every day. Okay. Before we get any further in this section, I need you to listen. Come here. Listen very closely to me here. Do not do all these things and fuck up your credit. Don't go opening all these credit cards thinking that it's going to be perfect for travel points hacking, as it is a very serious thing, and I need to make sure that's important to everyone watching. Do not fuck up your credit. So this takes us into the category of travel credit cards. Now, these are great things that you can use in order to be gaining points on things that you would normally buy anyways. Like, for example, there's even some travel cards out there like the Built MasterCard that you can pay your rent and be generating points that can be directly converted into travel points. Some of the best travel cards that are out there on the market right now include the Capital One Venture X card, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and the American Express Platinum and Gold cards, I believe. It is important, however, to make sure you're checking for the annual fees, as you can pretty much say that the better the card, the more luxury the card, the higher the fees are going to be. The Capital One being $395 a year, and the American Express being, I think, $695. Now those numbers do sound daunting. Each card does come with their own specific set of benefits and things you get. So I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to the travel points flight hacks game, but I'm getting into it because flying is expensive. But currently I have had my Bank of America travel rewards card for about, I want to say maybe about a year and a half to 2 years now, and I was able to take a trip to Thailand, almost completely covered by my initial intro points offer. And I'm soon to be, I think I've covered a couple hotels, and I'm soon to be taking another trip in early 2024 that's going to be partially flights covered by my travel rewards card. And I recently just upped my game and got into the big boy leagues with my Capital One Venture X card. This is known to be one of the best travel cards in the market right now, and I am going to be doing a couple more videos talking about my experiences with it. I just got it in the mail a couple days ago, and the intro offer is 75,000 points as long as you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of having the card. There are also credit card partnerships with airlines. One thing that's important to think about with airlines, though, is to think about the frequency that you do fly with those airlines. Obviously, there's lots of wonderful benefits that can be included when you have a credit card with Delta or United, and they will always try and sell you one. But you have to remember, if you live in Colorado, for example, and you don't have access to certain airlines, it doesn't quite make sense to get a credit card giving you points with just that airline. That's why some of these more generalized cards can be useful, because they cover the gambit and your points can be applied to flights, hotels, cars, like I said. And when I say flights, any airline can be covered. So as long as they're a travel partner to those cards, and it's a better, broader deal, in my opinion. I would be completely remiss if I also didn't include points and partnerships with hotels. Now, there's certain hotel rewards that can be really beneficial if you always like staying with a certain hotel chain, and you can begin to accrue points and loyalty and status, which is another helpful way to save money in travel. I'm pretty sure every major hotel chain has some type of loyalty program, but I also like to participate in the generalized ones, like, for example, with Booking.com, Expedia, Hotels.com, places like that where you have another broad opportunity to save up points. I believe last year I saved up enough points to book or partially cover one of my entire New York stays for like 5 or 6 nights. Good morning, New York. And if you're someone who travels to New York, you know that that is a really expensive expenditure, as one night in a New York hotel can go upwards of $300 when you tack on taxes and city fees and everything else like that. So next up, I want to talk about paying in installments. Isn't it a beautiful thing to live in 2023, almost 2024, when we can pay for things like flights and installments without paying interest? There are more airlines now than ever that allow you to split up your payments, those including some of the major carriers in the United States, including Delta Airlines, United Airlines, American Airlines. All it takes is planning out a little bit ahead and making sure that you have time to split up those payments and making smaller payments for over a course of time versus one lump sum. There's also other third-party websites like Affirm, Uplift, Klarna, and PayPal Credit that will allow you to split up flights and payments on other large things like hotels and things like that in order to allow you more time to pay off these trips, including no interest once again. I think traveling is one of the most enriching things that you can do and so worth spending your money on, but it is great when you could make your money go a little further. I hope these tips were helpful. Post any more in the comments below if you found something that worked for you. Also, please give this video a like and my channel a subscribe. Happy traveling for 2024.